When a woman disrespects you, your first instinct may be to argue, prove your worth, or demand an apology. But that's exactly where most men lose their power. Respect is never earned by chasing or reacting emotionally. It's earned by how you carry yourself when someone tests your value. In this video, you'll learn the smartest way to respond to disrespect, protect your dignity, and make choices that earn genuine respect. Before we start, comment, "I choose strength." Number 1. Stay calm and say less. When a woman disrespects you, your first reaction decides whether you keep your self-respect or hand it away. The hardest thing to do is often the right thing to do. Your emotions tell you to explain yourself, defend your intentions, ask why she acted that way, or try to make her understand your point of view. That reaction feels natural, but it rarely improves the situation. Instead, it tells her that your peace depends on her approval. A man who stays calm sends a completely different message. He understands that not every comment deserves a reply, and not every insult deserves his attention. He refuses to let another person's behavior decide his own. Silence is not weakness when it comes from self-control. It is strength because it shows that your emotions answer to you, not to someone else's actions. Many men lose themselves trying to win one conversation while slowly losing their confidence. They replay every word in their mind, wondering what they should have said differently. They lose sleep over someone who has already moved on with her day. Do not give that kind of power away. Your attention is valuable. Protect it. Stay calm, take a step back, and look at the situation without letting anger make your decisions. Ask yourself whether this relationship brings respect, peace, and honesty into your life. If the answer is no, then your energy belongs somewhere better. A man who remains steady during difficult moments becomes difficult to manipulate because he cannot be pushed into emotional reactions. That is the kind of strength people notice. It is also the kind of strength that changes every area of your life, because once you learn to control yourself, very little outside of you can control you. Number 2. Never reward bad behavior. Respect grows where standards exist. If someone treats you poorly and nothing changes, they learn that your boundaries are only words. Many men believe being endlessly patient makes them appear loving, understanding, or loyal. In reality, patience without standards often becomes permission for disrespect to continue. If she speaks to you with contempt, constantly dismisses your opinions, or only gives you attention when it benefits her, do not reward those actions by offering even more time, affection, or effort. Your kindness should never become something that excuses poor treatment. Real confidence is shown by knowing when to step back instead of trying harder. Some men keep giving because they hope their loyalty will eventually be appreciated, but respect cannot be purchased through sacrifice alone. Healthy relationships grow through mutual effort, not one person constantly proving their worth. Let your actions communicate your standards. Spend your time on people who appreciate your presence instead of constantly testing your limits. The moment you stop rewarding disrespect, you begin teaching others how they must treat you if they want access to your life. This is not about revenge or trying to make anyone regret their choices. It is about protecting your dignity. People often rise or fall to the standards you consistently maintain. When your standards become clear, your confidence becomes stronger, your decisions become wiser, and your relationships become healthier because they are built on respect instead of fear of losing someone. Number 3. Set clear boundaries. A man without boundaries finds himself living according to other people's expectations instead of his own values. Boundaries are not threats, punishments, or emotional outbursts. They are calm decisions about what you will accept and what you will not. When a woman disrespects you repeatedly, hoping she will suddenly change while you remain silent, rarely leads anywhere good. Speak with honesty. Keep your words simple, and let your actions support what you say. If respect disappears again, be willing to create distance instead of arguing for hours, trying to convince someone to value you. Your life becomes much lighter when your actions match your principles. Many men stay in situations that slowly destroy their confidence because they fear being alone more than being disrespected. That fear keeps them trapped. The truth is that peace is always worth more than constant emotional tension. A relationship should make your life stronger, not leave you questioning your value every day. When you respect yourself enough to protect your boundaries, you also create space for healthier relationships with people who genuinely appreciate your presence. Confidence grows each time you keep your word to yourself. Over time, you stop seeking approval because your self-worth no longer depends on another person's opinions. You become steady, focused, and difficult to shake because your identity rests on your character instead of someone else's changing emotions. That quiet confidence becomes one of the strongest qualities a man can develop, and it influences every decision he makes long after one difficult relationship becomes part of his past. Number 4. Watch what she does. When a woman disrespects you, pay attention to her actions instead of getting trapped by her words. Words can change from one day to the next, especially when someone realizes they may lose access to you, but actions reveal priorities over time. If she repeatedly dismisses your concerns, speaks to you without respect, breaks promises, or only treats you well when it benefits her, believe what her behavior is showing you instead of hoping another conversation will suddenly change everything. Many men stay focused on what she says she will do while ignoring what she actually keeps doing, and that creates endless disappointment because expectations replace reality. A strong man learns to step back and observe before making emotional decisions. He does not rush to explain himself every time there is conflict, and he does not invent excuses for someone who repeatedly shows a lack of respect. Instead, he asks one simple question: does her behavior match the kind of relationship I want for my life? That question alone removes confusion because it shifts your attention away from wishful thinking and toward facts. Respect is not measured by grand speeches or emotional promises. It is measured by consistency, honesty, accountability, and consideration. If those qualities are missing, no amount of hope can replace them. You cannot build a healthy future on repeated disrespect. You also cannot change another person simply because you care deeply about them. The only person you control is yourself, and that realization becomes one of the greatest sources of freedom you will ever discover. Once you stop trying to manage someone else's choices, your energy returns to where it belongs. You begin investing in your health, your work, your purpose, your friendships, and your peace of mind, instead of constantly trying to fix someone who has no interest in changing. Ironically, this shift also changes the way others see you, because people naturally respect those who respect themselves first. You become calmer under pressure, clearer in your decisions, and far less willing to accept treatment that slowly damages your confidence. That is not about becoming cold or uncaring. It is about becoming wise enough to recognize the difference between potential and reality. Potential is only valuable when it becomes consistent action. Until then, protect your peace and let actions speak louder than promises. If you are ready to stop repeating the same painful patterns and start building relationships from a position of strength. The Stoic Relationship, Blueprint for Men, is linked in the comments, and it is now available as an audiobook, so you can absorb these timeless principles while driving, exercising, jogging, taking a walk, or during your daily routine, and because it is yours forever, you will always have access to this life-changing wisdom whenever you need it most. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint course for men is also launching in the coming weeks to help you apply these principles step by step in your own life. So if you want early access, comment Blueprint below and be among the first to know when the doors open. Number 5. Respect yourself. First, everything changes when your self-respect becomes more important than keeping someone who repeatedly treats you poorly. Many men spend years trying to become good enough for someone else's approval while quietly neglecting themselves in the process. They sacrifice their goals, ignore their own standards, and slowly convince themselves that if they just give a little more, love a little harder, or stay a little longer, everything will finally improve. That mindset keeps you trapped because your happiness becomes dependent on another person's decisions. Real strength begins when you decide that your value is not something another person gets to measure. It comes from the way you live, the promises you keep to yourself, and the discipline you practice every day. Start building a life that makes you proud whether anyone is watching or not. Take care of your health, develop useful skills, improve your finances, strengthen your character, and surround yourself with people who bring honesty and encouragement into your life. The stronger your foundation becomes, the less likely you are to tolerate disrespect simply because you fear losing someone. Confidence built on character cannot be taken away by criticism or poor treatment because it is earned through your own actions. When a woman sees that you refuse to compromise your values just to keep her attention, she learns that your standards are genuine rather than temporary. If she responds with greater respect and accountability, there is room to rebuild trust over time. If she continues the same behavior, you have the strength to leave without losing yourself. Either outcome moves your life forward because your identity no longer depends on someone else's approval. That is the transformation every man should pursue. Not becoming harder, bitter, or resentful, but becoming steady, disciplined, and secure enough to walk away from what repeatedly destroys your peace while remaining open to relationships built on mutual respect, honesty, and genuine effort. Number 6. Let her earn your trust. Trust is not something you hand over because someone says the right words or returns after a period of distance. Trust is built through consistent actions, honest communication, and respect shown over time. When a woman has already disrespected you, it is natural to want an explanation, a promise that things will change, or some sign that the relationship can return to what it once was. But do not confuse a single emotional conversation with genuine change. Anyone can say what you want to hear in the moment. Lasting character is revealed by what someone continues to do long after the conversation ends. Give yourself permission to slow everything down. There is no prize for rushing back into a situation that previously damaged your peace of mind. Watch whether her actions become consistent, whether she accepts responsibility without shifting blame, whether she respects your time instead of expecting immediate access to your attention, and whether her behavior reflects the values she claims to have. If those changes never appear, believe what her actions continue to show you instead of holding on to hope alone. Many men struggle because they think keeping their guard up is the same as being bitter. But there is a difference between closing your heart and protecting your standards. You can remain kind without becoming naive. You can remain respectful without ignoring patterns that repeatedly hurt you. The strongest position is not one where you become cold toward everyone. It is one where your trust is treated as something valuable that must be earned. That mindset changes the quality of every relationship you build because people quickly recognize that you value yourself enough to expect honesty, accountability, and mutual respect. When someone knows your standards cannot be bought with empty promises, they either rise to meet those standards or they remove themselves from your life. Either outcome protects your future. Every difficult experience becomes an opportunity to sharpen your judgment instead of hardening your heart. Instead of asking yourself how to make someone appreciate your value, begin asking whether they consistently demonstrate the qualities you want beside you for years to come. That single change in perspective transforms the way you make decisions. You become less driven by emotion and more guided by principle. You stop searching for constant reassurance because your confidence comes from living according to your values rather than seeking approval from someone else. Over time, this quiet discipline becomes part of who you are. It influences your friendships, your work, your family, and every important decision you make. You discover that real confidence is not about controlling another person's choices. It is about controlling your own. You stop settling for less than respect because you finally understand that protecting your peace is never selfish. It is one of the greatest responsibilities you have to yourself. When you value your trust enough to let it be earned instead of freely given, you create room for relationships built on honesty instead of uncertainty, consistency instead of confusion, and genuine respect instead of temporary emotion. That is the kind of foundation that lasts, and it begins the moment you decide your trust is valuable enough to deserve careful consideration before it is given again. Number 7. Know when to walk away. Walking away is not giving up. It is choosing your self-respect over endless frustration. Many men stay in relationships long after the respect has disappeared because they keep hoping that one more conversation, one more chance, or one more sacrifice will suddenly change everything. They convince themselves that if they are patient enough, understanding enough, or forgiving enough, she will eventually become the person they believed she could be. But a relationship cannot survive on potential alone. It survives on consistent respect, honesty, and mutual effort. If a woman repeatedly disrespects you, ignores your boundaries, dismisses your concerns, or treats your loyalty as something she can take for granted, there comes a point where staying says more about your standards than her behavior. That is the difficult truth many men avoid, because leaving means accepting reality instead of holding on to hope. Reality is uncomfortable, but it is also the beginning of freedom. The moment you stop trying to force someone to value what they have in front of them, you release yourself from carrying a burden that was never yours to carry. You cannot make another person choose respect. You cannot argue someone into appreciating your character. You cannot build a healthy relationship by yourself. Your responsibility is not to change another person's behavior. Your responsibility is to decide what kind of treatment you are willing to accept. That decision shapes your future more than anything another person says or does. Walking away requires courage because it asks you to face uncertainty instead of settling for familiar disappointment. It asks you to believe that peace is worth protecting, even when the next chapter is still unknown. That choice is never easy, but it is often the one that allows real growth to begin. Once you stop investing your energy into someone who repeatedly damages your confidence, you suddenly have room to invest that same energy into your own life. You begin taking care of your health because you value your future. You become more disciplined because your goals deserve your attention. You strengthen your finances because independence creates freedom. You deepen your friendships because genuine respect exists there. You develop new skills because every improvement becomes another reminder that your life is bigger than one difficult relationship. Slowly, the situation that once consumed your thoughts loses its grip on your mind. The silence that once felt heavy becomes peaceful. The loneliness you feared becomes time for growth. The questions that once kept you awake no longer matter because your purpose becomes greater than your disappointment. Then something remarkable happens. You stop measuring your worth by whether someone stays or leaves. You stop wondering if you are enough because your confidence is no longer built on another person's approval. You carry yourself differently. You speak with greater certainty. You make decisions with greater clarity. People notice that you are calm under pressure because your emotions no longer control your choices. They notice that you listen more than you argue, observe more than you react, and protect your peace without becoming bitter. That quiet strength becomes part of your character, and it influences every relationship you build from that point forward. If someone enters your life with honesty and respect, you welcome it. If someone repeatedly brings confusion and disrespect, you no longer fight to keep them there. You simply accept what their actions reveal and continue moving forward. That is not weakness. It is wisdom earned through experience. The greatest victory is not proving someone wrong or making them regret their decisions. The greatest victory is becoming a man who refuses to abandon his principles for temporary attention. When you reach that point, your life changes because your standards become stronger than your fears. You no longer live hoping someone else will finally see your value. You already know your value, and that certainty influences every step you take. That is why walking away is never the end of your story. It is often the moment your best chapter begins, because from that day forward, your decisions are guided by character instead of desperation, by purpose instead of uncertainty, and by self-respect instead of the need to be chosen. Once you reach that level of inner stability, no one can take it away from you, because it is built from the choices you make every single day, and those choices always remain yours. Number 8. Build a life that commands respect. The greatest response to disrespect is not proving someone wrong. It is building a life that no longer depends on their opinion. Many men spend months trying to understand why a woman treated them poorly, hoping that one final conversation will provide the answer that finally brings peace. But peace rarely comes from another person's explanation. It comes from the decisions you make after the disappointment. The day you stop making one person's behavior the center of your life is the day your future begins to open. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you own. Every minute you spend replaying old conversations is a minute that could have been invested in becoming stronger, wiser, healthier, and more capable. Ask yourself an honest question. If every thought you give to someone who disrespected you were invested in your health, your career, your discipline, your family, or your purpose instead, where would your life be a year from now? That question changes everything because it shifts your focus from what you cannot control to what has always been within your control. You cannot decide how another person behaves, but you always decide how you respond. That decision shapes your future far more than any argument ever could. Every challenge you face becomes an opportunity to strengthen your character if you refuse to let bitterness become your identity. Carry yourself with quiet confidence. Keep your word even when it is difficult. Let your habits become stronger than your emotions. Continue improving when nobody is watching, because real confidence is built through repeated actions, not temporary motivation. There will always be people who fail to appreciate your value. Do not waste your life trying to convince them otherwise. Instead, become someone whose standards, discipline, and integrity speak louder than any explanation. The right people will recognize those qualities without you having to advertise them. The wrong people may leave, and that is not a loss. It creates space for healthier relationships built on mutual respect rather than constant uncertainty. As your confidence grows, you stop seeking validation because your sense of worth comes from the promises you keep to yourself. You become calmer during conflict because you understand that protecting your peace is more valuable than winning every disagreement. You become patient because you know that lasting success is built over time. You become selective because you understand that giving your trust, time, and energy is a choice, not an obligation. This mindset changes every area of your life. It improves your decisions, strengthens your relationships, and helps you move through difficult moments without losing yourself. Eventually, you realize something that once seemed impossible. The woman who disrespected you no longer defines your story. She becomes only one chapter, while the life you continue building becomes the book. That is the real victory. Not making someone regret losing you, but becoming a man who wakes up each day with purpose, confidence, and self-respect, knowing that his future is built by his own character rather than someone else's approval. Your future is shaped by the standards you choose today, not by the approval you seek from anyone else. So if you're ready to build unshakable confidence and stronger relationships, comment "I choose strength" like this video, and subscribe to help more men discover these timeless principles and avoid years of painful mistakes. Then get the Stoic Relationship Blueprint for Men linked in the comments, now also available as an audiobook so you can listen while driving, taking a walk, jogging, or exercising. Knowing this life-changing knowledge will always be yours to revisit whenever you need it. There are people who profit when men never learn true emotional discipline and lasting character, but these principles have endured for more than 2,000 years, and I'm now building the Stoic Relationship Blueprint course for men, launching in the coming weeks, to help you apply them step by step in your life and relationships. Don't miss the opportunity to begin your transformation today.